welcome to eBay with Chris. I just printed out some labels, so we're going to go ahead and go outside in a minute and pick some orders, out to the garage that is. Also in today's video, we're going to look at my eBay reports for the week of October 9th through October 15th. That's going to be a good time. And we're also going to look at all the details of everything that's sold. You can see all my eBay fees and my profit and everything else for every single item that's sold. And if you want to know anything about the equipment that I use in my eBay business, for example, my lights and the different things that I use, my printer and whatnot, you can check out the links in the description below. And of course, those are affiliate links, and anything that you purchase through those links will go to supporting the channel, and I appreciate it very much. Also, be warned, when we go outside to pick the inventory, I did not set up my inventory very well for good camera angles. So the video is a little bit awkward, but I think you get the point. And I'm curious to see if you have any feedback on my inventory setup. It's not the best, but it works for me for now. You can see the labels are printed out with my SKU number right there. Let's go over here to this one here. There's that one. And that one right there. However, the last one doesn't have it. It just has the title. See right here, it just has the title. It doesn't show my SKU number because early on I was putting my SKU number in the wrong place. I can still find the SKU number, it just won't print out. Instead, it prints out the title of the item because I had the SKU number in the incorrect location. Since then, though, I have learned to put the SKU numbers in the correct location, and that way I can print them out on the labels and go pull my orders. For this one right here, I will need to look up the SKU number and write it on the label so I can pull the order. Okay, now I'm ready to go pull the orders. Okay, I got my shipping labels. Let's go ahead and pick the orders. Welcome to eBay with Chris, where I'm on a journey to build an eBay business from $0 to $3,000 monthly profit in just 12 months. We're walking out to my detached garage where I keep all my inventory. Let's go. Okay, so here's one of my walls of inventory. As you can see, one of my stacks right here, the bottom box started collapsing, so I had to take some of them off there. But basically, I'm stacking up Home Depot boxes with all of my inventory in them, starting from this tote right here and going up, and then from oldest right here to the newest. But then when you go around the corner here, you can see they're all on pallets. Go around the corner here, I've got more. And this is where the newer inventory is. Kind of excuse the mess that's back here, but so I have more boxes right here, and that's where the newer inventory is, and that's actually where most of my orders are today. So I'll set up the camera and we'll pull the orders. Okay, so the first number we're looking for is 23392, and if you're looking at the boxes right here, you can see I go 232, 23335, 23367. So it's going to be in this box right here. So I got to take the other boxes off the top. Okay. That's going to be in this box right here. And again, the number is 23392. And let's see, it should be towards the back. 23399. 23392 right there. And all the other orders are in the boxes on the back side, so we're going to go ahead and put these away. Okay, so the next number is 24465. I don't know if it's focusing on that. 24465. This box is 24437, and this starts at 24468. So it's going to be in this box right here. So my inventory is not exactly set up to film. I guess if I'm going to do more of this, I need to create more of a studio where you can see me actually doing this work, or I can film it. But this is, again, 24465 is going to be towards the back. Probably one of the last items in the box. And there it is. Okay, and the next item is 245 24535, and that is 245 in the second box right here, 24535. So we got to take all this down. Okay, right here, 24535. Okay, the next item is 24615. Okay, the next item is 24615, which is going to be in this box right here. Let's find it. Roughly in the middle here. 17, 16. There it is, 24615. And the last two items are actually still in the boxes that are in the house where I have my photo station. They're so new, I just listed them in the last couple days and they haven't even made it out here in the garage yet. Well, what'd you think of my inventory setup? A little bit crowded, right? Well, let's go ahead and dive into some of the items that sold this week. But first, let me talk about my cost of goods. So I assume a $3 cost of goods sold for every single item on average. My average buy cost year to date is about $1.50, which is really low. And that's a tip right there. Keep your expenses or your cost of goods really low, and then you can afford mistakes when you make mistakes, because I make mistakes all the time when I'm buying product. So the less they cost, the less painful the mistake is. Other expenses for my cost of goods sold include things like laundry, of course my storage boxes and poly mailers and all the other expenses that go into building an eBay business or storing your eBay product. So my average cost of goods sold is probably less than $2 or less than $3 per item, but I go ahead and just round it to $3 and call it good. And that's why you'll see I typically subtract $3 off of what eBay paid me in order to determine my profit. So let's go ahead and dive into what sold. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all the details on these listings. I'm going to give you some of the highlights, but if you want to pause and look at the detailed numbers, go for it. You know, I have all the information on the screen, and if you want to look at all the details and see the numbers, feel free to pause the screen and check it out. So here we have an REI Co-op jacket. It's a puffer quilted jacket, women's size XL. I was asking $39 for it, but I went ahead and took an offer of $27 for it. So the buyer's all in for $37.68. eBay paid me $23.82 after my payout, which was a profit of $21 for me. However, it did take 6.5 months for this item to sell, so it sat around for a little bit, and that's probably why I took that lower offer. Okay, so this next item is a Calvin Klein women's jacket. I called it a car coat. I don't know if that's the best term to use for that, but I was trying to figure out how to describe this item. It was in my store for 6.5 months, and at the beginning of my business, that's kind of earlier in my business, I didn't really know very many keywords, and since then I've learned a lot more. But it did sell, and so this buyer is all in for $51.76. After all the fees, eBay paid me $26.88 for a profit of $24. Thank you, Calvin Klein. Here I have a camo hunting jacket. I think the brand is Game Hide, if I remember correctly. And it did advertise on its label something called a Hush Hide Silent fabric, which sounds like it's pretty important when you're hunting. This was in my store for 6 months, so I found it in the bins in the spring, and it sold just before hunting season. And this buyer paid my full asking price of $34. They were all in for $52.81. After all the fees, eBay paid me $29.56 for a profit of $26. Keep an eye out for anything that is a real tree. So it has the real tree pattern on the outside of it. You can see that actually in the pattern. If you looked closely, you'd see the Realtree logo written into the pattern. So you can use that as a keyword as well. But anyways, great find. Keep an eye out for these types of items. Pearl Izumi is a good cycling brand. Here I have just a super lightweight windbreaker jacket. It's got that super bright neon yellow color. I was asking $22, but I accepted an offer of $18, so the buyer was all in for $24.93. eBay after fees paid me $16.03 for a profit of $13, and this was in my store for just 5 months. So I always pick up Pearl Izumi items. They seem to sell pretty quickly. Early on in my business, I was buying a lot of like Victoria's Secret type of items. If I found them, like sweatshirts and hoodies and even shirts, I would pick them up because I kind of thought they were good sellers, but I've since learned they're not. But this is kind of left over from that time. This was in my store for 5 months. These are Victoria's Secret Total Knockout leggings. It took me a while to figure out what they were called. But this buyer offered me $15, which I accepted, so they were all in for $20.85. After fees, eBay paid me $13.54 for a profit of $10. Okay, let's go ahead and look at my eBay reports. So here we have the report for October 9th through October 15th. And you can see I sold 16 items, a little bit lower than the past couple weeks. Kind of a bummer, a little disappointing. But it is what it is. You know, it's okay. My total sales for the week, $565.83, so I'm pretty grateful for that. My selling costs, only $200.59, which is 35.5% of my total sales. And then you can look over at my net sales, or what eBay paid me, $334.36. So I'm making over $300 a week on eBay, total of at least $1,200, $1,500 to $1,600 a month. So I'm pretty happy with my progress so far on eBay. And then you can go ahead and see what my average sales price per item. This really saved it because I only sold 16 items, but my average sales price was really good, $35.36. I'm guessing my profit per item at that average sale price is probably going to be somewhere around $20 per item. We'll find out. We'll do the calculations later in the video, but that is a good average sales price, and I'm happy with that. It tells me that I'm finding items that have a good value, so that's really good. Here you can see my sales chart for the week. As you can see, on Monday, I sold like one item for 25 bucks. Looks like Tuesday around $75. Wednesday was my big day, around $160, and then it kind of fell off on Thursday and Friday. And then Saturday, again, another $150, and I rounded out the week on Sunday with about $50 of sales. So, okay week, you know. You can see on the left-hand side the total item sales, or what people paid for the items themselves, $390.50. The buyers also paid $144.45 in shipping costs, and of course some taxes and government fees of $30.88. So keep an eye on that shipping and handling. Let's see if on the next screen if I paid less for the shipping and handling than the buyer. Okay, so here's my selling costs for the week. You can see my total selling costs were $200.59. And if you scroll over here to my final value fees, I paid $72.77, which was 13% of my total sales, right on track with where I should be. My ad fees were $5.23, so I sold a couple items on ads, and that's less than 1% of my total sales. And my shipping labels cost $132.29, and that is less than what the buyers paid. I think the buyers paid what, $144? So about $12 less. So I did make a little bit of money on the shipping labels. As long as I don't lose money on shipping labels, I'm happy. Let's go ahead and look at some more items that sold. Here we have a North Face jacket. It's a women's size large. It's a high vent, which is one of their models. It's a rain shell, windbreaker. I used a bunch of keywords like that. You can see in the condition notes, though, I wrote that the lining appears to be peeling under the mesh liner. I couldn't tell for sure. I took a bunch of close-ups of those areas. But on some of these jackets that are similar to this, they just have that lining on the inside, and it's obvious to see if they're peeling, you know, they're flaking and everything. I I have sold some of those and took close-up pictures of those flaking areas, but now I try to avoid them because they just don't sell for as much. But this one did have a mesh, like a liner, that was over the coating on the inside, so I couldn't really tell if the coating was peeling or not. But I called it out and I priced it really low. This was in my store for 4 months. The buyer paid my full asking price of $17, so they were all in for $25.40. After fees, eBay paid me $15.36 for a profit of 12 bucks. North Face. Patagonia Better Sweater, a classic. Pick it up every time, especially if you're at the bins and you're paying like $1.99 for this item, or maybe even it costs $3 for the item just because it's a little bit heavier than a pound. But it's a great pickup no matter what. This is a women's size green, great color, and I was asking $34. You can see in the condition notes I did write that it had some pilling on the arms and the sides, which is pretty common in these types of sweaters. The buyer offered me $30.60. Actually, that was probably, that was a 10% offer that I sent out, which the buyer accepted. The buyer's all in for $41.15. After fees, eBay paid me $27.02 for a profit of 24 bucks. Patagonia, love it. I also picked up these Patagonia yoga pants. They have the flare legs, kind of the boot cut flare legs, kind of a cool style. However, I didn't realize that there was a hole in the crotch when I bought them, and it had a little bit of pilling on the kind of the right thigh area. You can see I put that in the condition notes. I missed that when I bought them, so I had to price them lower than I wanted to, just to move them. They were only in my store for 2 months though. It's pretty good. So I was asking 12 bucks. It looks like the buyer took an offer when I sent out offers of 10% off. So they paid $10.80. They were all in for $19.35. After fees, eBay paid me $9.88 for a profit of just 7 bucks. Oh well. Patagonia, I would still pick them up, but I need to inspect them a little bit better. I probably could have priced these at around $19 to $24 and made a little bit more money if they were in good condition. Mountain Khakis is another outdoor brand to keep an eye out for. I will pick them up quite often, but I don't see them very much. These are just some regular pants. I use keywords like hiking, gorpcore, workwear, because they were kind of a denim style, almost kind of a Carhartt feel to them, but they're more of an outdoor brand, right? So I also put some condition notes in. They did have some damage to the heels and a stain on the left calf and on the right rear pocket. I also started putting the actual measurements, if they're different than the tag measurements. I started putting the actual measurements in the condition notes. That way I didn't waste title space putting the actual measurements in there. I can put keywords in there that will help people find it. So I was asking $19. The buyer paid my full asking price, so they were all in for $31.36. eBay after fees paid me $17.98 for a profit of $15, and they were only in my store for 2 months. Nike running is still a good item to pick up. I pass on a lot of like Nike hoodies and things like that, but anything that is more of their running gear, I will buy that because there's still some demand for it. The prices are a little bit higher than the typical basic hoodies. So here we have a Nike Dry Fit running. It's a pullover quarter zip. I also use the keyword athleisure, but I was asking $22. The buyer paid the full price, and so they were all in for $31.94. And after fees, eBay paid me $19.08 for a profit of 16 bucks, and it just took 2 months to sell. So pretty good deal. Keep an eye out for the Nike running items. Spend a couple minutes looking at my business metrics. One of my goals is to grow my store by 50 items per week. And as you know, if you've been following my videos, I haven't been doing very well in that area. It's been slower growth than I wanted, just kind of a time constraint. But this week I did do pretty well. I started the week with 1,010 items in my store, and I ended the week with 1,055 items in my store for a total store growth of 45 items. Boom. Pretty good. I sold 16 items, so that means I listed 61 items for the week. Let's go ahead and look at the next metric, which is my store sell-through rate. So my target is to sell 0.5% of my store inventory every single day, which would mean if I had 1,000 items in my store, which I do, I would sell about 5 items per day, which is 0.5%. However, I did not sell 5 items per day. If I did, I would have sold 35 items this week. So what you do is you take the number of items sold, divide that by the number of days you're looking at, and divide that by the number of items in your store. So in my case, I sold 16 items, divide that by 7 days, and divide that again by 1,010 items. I got a 0.23% sell-through rate for my store, which is about half of where I want to be. That's probably honestly a more realistic number, around 0.25, 0.3%. So I just need to continue to grow my store more and more and more so that I can hit the number of items I want to sell per day. My target is to sell 10 items per day. And finally, let's go ahead and look at my profit. So my cost of goods sold, I sold 16 items. My average cost of goods sold is $3 per item. So that means my total cost of goods sold was $48. Subtract that from what eBay paid me. They paid me $334.36. So my total taxable profit for the week, $286.36. Pretty good, I'll take that. Now if we divide that number again by 16 items sold, my average profit per item was $17.90. Not the $20 that I guesstimated, but still really good. My target is to profit at least $10 per item, and I profited $17.90 per item, so pretty pleased with that. Let's go ahead and look at some more items that sold. Lucky brand jeans. Now these can be hit or miss. I have better luck selling the men's for a higher price than the women's. It seems like there's more of the women's on the market. But this is a men's size 34-32. They're the 221 straight flex denim pants. This buyer paid my full asking price of $19, so the buyer was all in for $30.39. After fees, eBay paid me $17.85 for a profit of $15, and it only took a month and a half to sell. Check out these LL Bean shoes. Man, I would love to have these on walking around in the wet weather. So these are men's size 11. They're waterproof. I think the style is called Storm Chaser. I also used the number 290589. LL Bean is really good about having an item ID number in almost all of their items. So I will either put that in a title or in the item specifics called MPN, I believe it's called. But you can put the model number in that, and that's also searchable. I've searched for that and not found the numbers in the title, but I have found it in the item description, so it does seem to work. So I put that there as well in case someone is trying to find the exact same item that they used to have and they want a new one. So I was asking $37 for this. It looks like the buyer took one of my 10% offer discounts. So they paid $33.30. They were all in for $45.99. After fees, eBay paid me a flat $29 for a profit of $26, and they were only in my store for a month and a half. Great find. We have kind of a unique item. They're called Smart Pants, and it took me a while Smart Parts Pants. It took me a while to kind of figure out what they were. When I first saw them, I thought they were maybe like riding pants, like motorcycle riding pants or something like that, just because they have a little bit of padding in different areas on the pants. But what I found out is that they are for paintball. Tactical pants for paintball. They're vented to help keep you a little bit cool, but also provide some protection, I guess. I've never done paintball. It looks like fun, but it could also be painful. I also put some condition notes. It has a stain on the left knee and some pilling across the front. That's probably from where they carry their gear and stuff like that. So I was asking $34. The buyer paid the full price, and so they were all in for $50.70. After fees, eBay paid me $32.46 for a profit of $29, and this item just took 1 month to sell. Another LL Bean item. I'm starting to buy more and more LL Bean items because I think they have a good following and they seem to sell pretty quickly. So this is a woman's vest. It is quilted. It really has kind of a nice feel to it. I use keywords like hiking and gorpcore. I was asking $22. Looks like the buyer took a 10% discount that I sent out. So they paid $19.80, all in for $28.62. After fees, eBay paid me $16.49 for a profit of $13, and this item just took 2 weeks to sell. Quick flip. AG jeans, or I'm going to try and say this. Adriano Goldschmied jeans. Pick them up if you find them. For me, they always seem to sell for good money and pretty quickly. So these are men's size 34-32. The style is called the Graduate Tailored Leg Jeans. I was asking $34. The buyer paid the full asking price plus shipping and taxes, so they were all in for $45.95. After fees, eBay paid me $29.14 for a profit of $26, and it just took 1 week to sell. AG jeans, look for them, buy them. Another Patagonia item, Patagonia. These are some running shorts. They're called baggies is the style, I guess, Patagonia baggies. They're purple, they're mesh lined, so they're kind of for running or hiking. I also use the term gorpcore. I was asking $27 for them. They sent an offer of $22, which I accepted. So they were all in for $26.95. These sold on the same day I listed them. I don't know why I took such a low offer, but hey, it actually is a pretty decent offer. Oh, speaking of that, so I use the minimal offer feature when I do my listing. So in this case, I put $27 as my price, and probably my minimal offer was $22. So sometimes I've seen buyers, they make an offer of 10, it gets automatically denied. Then they'll try 15, it gets automatically denied. Then they'll try 20, it gets denied. And they keep creeping up until they hit my number. So in this case, my number was 22. And for me, if they make an offer that's acceptable and it goes through because it's not automatically denied, I pretty much always accept that offer, even if it's something I listed on the same day, because in my mind, I've already set that as a number that I'll accept for people to purchase the item. So I encourage you to avoid those lowball offers by using the minimal offer feature in your listings. There's a tip for you to avoid all those lowball offers that can be kind of frustrating. So in this case, eBay paid me after fees $19.21 for a profit of $16. Thank you, Patagonia. Thanks a lot for watching eBay with Chris. So once again, if you want to check out some of the items that I use in my business, for example, the printer or the lights that I use in my photo station, or even the yardstick that I use, it's all listed down below in the description. So check that out. I really appreciate the support. And if you want to follow me on my journey from $0 to $3,000 profit, go ahead and click on the subscribe button right here. And if you want to binge watch a little bit more of eBay with Chris and check out some of my other eBay reports, start with this video right here. Thanks a lot. Take care.